The planet Zowato was known for its sprawling research facilities, which housed some of the most brilliant minds in the galaxy. Dr. Kawaza, a renowned alien scientist, had dedicated her life to unraveling the mysteries of ancient civilizations. Today, she and her assistant, Tarak, were poring over an ancient data archive that had just been unearthed in a remote region of the planet. "Look at this, Tarak," Dr. Kawaza said, her voice tinged with excitement. "These genetic sequences are astonishing. They belong to humans, but they are ancient." Tarak, a young and eager scientist, peered over her shoulder, his eyes widening in surprise. "Ancient? How ancient are we talking about, Dr. Kawaza?" Dr. Kawaza adjusted her spectacles and continued to scan the data. "These sequences predate our own recorded history. Whoever manipulated this DNA was incredibly advanced." Tarak's brow furrowed in confusion. "Advanced? But humans are relatively new to the galactic community. How could they have such sophisticated genetics?" Dr. Kawaza leaned back in her chair, deep in thought. "That's precisely what we need to find out. This discovery could change everything we know about human history and genetics." "Should we inform the Galactic Council?" Tarak asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and concern. Dr. Kawaza nodded. "Yes, they need to see this. This is too important to keep to ourselves." A few days later, in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from various species gathered to hear Dr. Kawaza's findings. Among them were Lena, a human diplomat, and Captain Zoran, a formidable human military leader. Dr. Kawaza stood before the assembly, her expression serious. "Esteemed members of the council, we have made a groundbreaking discovery on Zowato. We found an ancient data archive containing information about human DNA manipulation. The genetic sequences we analyzed are extraordinarily advanced and date back to a time before our own histories began." Lena, sitting in the front row, raised an eyebrow. "Dr. Kawaza, can you elaborate on what you found? How advanced are these manipulations?" Dr. Kawaza took a deep breath. "The data shows that human DNA was altered by a hyper-advanced civilization. The changes made to the genetic code are beyond anything we've seen before. It's as if they were preparing humans for something extraordinary." Captain Zoran, his arms crossed, leaned forward. "So you're saying our ancestors were tampered with by some advanced race? For what purpose?" Tarak, who had accompanied Dr. Kawaza, stepped forward. "We don't know the exact purpose yet, Captain, but the implications are vast. It suggests that humans might possess dormant abilities that we are only now beginning to understand." Lena's eyes widened. "Dormant abilities? Are you suggesting that humans might have hidden powers?" Dr. Kawaza nodded. "Yes, and we believe these abilities are starting to reactivate. We've already observed some initial signs of this in a few individuals." Captain Zoran's expression hardened. "If what you're saying is true, we need to prepare. This could have significant ramifications for our species and our standing in the galaxy." The room fell silent as the council members absorbed the information. Dr. Kawaza could see the wheels turning in their minds, contemplating the potential and the risks of this revelation. Lena broke the silence. "Dr. Kawaza, what do you propose we do next?" "We need to conduct more research," Dr. Kawaza replied. "We need to understand the extent of these abilities and what might have triggered their reactivation. This will require collaboration between our species." Captain Zoran nodded in agreement. "We should also inform our colonies and prepare for any possible threats. This newfound power could make us targets." As the council meeting adjourned, Lena and Captain Zoran approached Dr. Kawaza and Tarak. "We need to work together on this," Lena said. "Our people deserve to know the truth." Dr. Kawaza smiled. "I couldn't agree more, Lena. Let's make this a joint effort. Together, we can unlock the secrets of your genetic heritage and ensure that this knowledge is used for the benefit of all." Back on Zowato, the research facility buzzed with activity as scientists from various species collaborated on the project. Dr. Kawaza and Tarak worked tirelessly, analyzing the data and conducting experiments to understand the full scope of the genetic modifications. One evening, as the sun set over the alien landscape, Lena and Captain Zoran joined Dr. Kawaza and Tarek in the laboratory. "We've made some progress," Dr. Kawaza announced. "We've identified a few individuals who are showing signs of reactivation. One of them is a young girl named Rena." Captain Zoran's eyes narrowed. "What kind of abilities are we talking about?" Tarek pulled up a holographic display. "Rena has demonstrated telekinetic abilities. She can move objects with her mind." Lena's jaw dropped. "Telekinesis, that's incredible. How is she handling it?" "She's scared but also excited," Dr. Kawaza said. "We're providing her with guidance and support. We need to ensure that these abilities are nurtured and controlled." Captain Zoran crossed his arms. "We also need to think about security. If these abilities become widespread, it could change the balance of power in the galaxy." Lena nodded. "We should inform our government and start developing a plan to integrate these abilities into our society. This could be a turning point for humanity." As the days passed, more humans began to exhibit reactivated abilities. The news spread like wildfire, and soon, the entire galaxy was abuzz with the revelation. Some saw it as a blessing, while others viewed it with suspicion and fear. In a private meeting room, Dr. Kawaza, Tarek, Lena, and Captain Zoran gathered to discuss their next steps. "We've been receiving messages from all over the galaxy," Dr. Kawaza said. "Some species are offering their assistance, while others are expressing concerns." Lena sighed. "It's understandable. This is a huge shift in the status quo. We need to approach this carefully." Captain Zoran leaned forward. "We also need to be ready for any threats. There are those who might try to exploit or suppress this information." Tarek nodded. "We've already seen some attempts to hack into our systems. We need to bolster our defenses." Dr. Kawaza looked at each of them in turn. "I believe that if we work together, we can navigate this situation successfully. We need to be transparent and cooperative. The future of humanity depends on it." Meanwhile, on Earth, the reactivation of abilities sparked widespread excitement and curiosity. News outlets covered stories of individuals displaying extraordinary powers, from telekinesis to enhanced senses. Governments and organizations scrambled to understand the implications and potential of these newfound abilities. In a bustling city, a young woman named Sarah discovered her ability to heal wounds with a touch. She became a beacon of hope for many, offering her gift to help those in need. Her story inspired others to embrace their abilities and use them for the greater good. One evening, Sarah received a call from Lena. "Sarah, we need your help. We're assembling a team of individuals with reactivated abilities to study and understand them better. Would you be willing to join us?" Sarah didn't hesitate. "Of course, Lena. I want to help in any way I can. This is an incredible opportunity for all of us." As Sarah traveled to Zawado, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. The galaxy was changing, and she was about to play a pivotal role in shaping its future. Back at the research facility, Dr. Kawaza and her team continued their work, documenting the abilities and studying their origins. They discovered that the genetic modifications were designed to be adaptive, allowing humans to evolve and develop new skills in response to their environment. "This is remarkable," Dr. Kawaza said, showing Tarek the latest data. "It's as if the benefactors intended for humans to become a resilient and adaptable species." Tarek nodded. "It explains why the abilities are reactivating now. The current galactic climate might be the trigger." As Sarah arrived at the facility, she was greeted by Lena and Captain Zoran. "Welcome, Sarah," Lena said with a warm smile. "We're glad to have you here." Sarah looked around, taking in the advanced technology and bustling activity. "It's an honor to be here. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to help." Captain Zoran nodded approvingly. "Your healing abilities are extraordinary, Sarah. You'll be an invaluable asset to our team." Over the next few weeks, the team worked tirelessly, sharing their findings and collaborating on experiments. They discovered that the reactivation of abilities was not limited to any specific region or demographic. It was a universal phenomenon, affecting humans across the galaxy. One day, as the team gathered for a meeting, Dr. Kawaza shared an exciting development. We've identified a potential catalyst for the reactivation. It seems to be linked to a specific environmental factor, a type of cosmic radiation that has recently increased in intensity. Lena's eyes widened. Cosmic radiation. That would explain why the abilities are manifesting now. But what caused the increase? Dr. Kawaza shrugged. We're not sure yet. It could be a natural phenomenon or something more deliberate. We need to investigate further. Captain Zoran crossed his arms. If it's deliberate, we need to find out who or what is behind it. This could be a threat to our security. As the team delved deeper into their research, they uncovered more clues about the ancient benefactors. The data archive contained references to a long-lost civilization known as the Illyrians, who were believed to have possessed godlike powers and advanced technology. The Illyrians were thought to be myths, Tarek said, his voice filled with awe. If they were real, it means they had a profound impact on the development of humanity. Dr. Kawaza nodded. It seems that way. The Illyrians may have been the ones who manipulated human DNA, preparing them for a future where their abilities would be crucial. Lena leaned back in her chair, deep in thought. This changes everything we know about our history. We need to share this information with the Galactic Council and the rest of humanity. Captain Zoran agreed. But we must also be cautious. There will be those who fear this knowledge and what it means for the balance of power in the galaxy. As the team prepared their report, they couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and trepidation. The discovery of the Illyrians and the reactivation of human abilities had the potential to reshape the galaxy, ushering in a new era of cooperation and understanding. In the following weeks, the Galactic Council held a series of meetings to discuss the implications of the discovery. Representatives from various species expressed their support and concern, highlighting the need for unity and collaboration. Lena stood before the assembly, her voice clear and confident. We have an opportunity to learn from our past and build a better future together. The abilities reactivating in humans are a gift, not a threat. We must work together to understand them and ensure they are used for the greater good. Captain Zoran stepped forward, his presence commanding. We will protect our people and our allies. This is a pivotal moment in our history, and we will face it with courage and determination. As the council members nodded in agreement, Dr. Kawaza couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. The galaxy was on the brink of a new era, one where the potential of humanity and the wisdom of the ancient Illyrians could guide them toward a brighter future. Back on Zawado, the research facility continued its work, uncovering more secrets and sharing their findings with the galaxy. Sarah and the other individuals with reactivated abilities became symbols of hope, demonstrating the potential for humanity to evolve and thrive. One evening, as the sun set over the alien landscape, Dr. Kawaza, Tarak, Lena, and Captain Zoran gathered to reflect on their journey. We've come a long way, Dr. Kawaza said, her voice filled with gratitude. But there is still much to learn and discover. Lena smiled. Together, we can achieve anything. The future is in our hands. Captain Zoran nodded. And we will face it with strength and unity. As they looked out at the stars, they knew that their journey was just beginning. The hidden legacy of the Illyrians and the reactivation of human abilities had opened a new chapter in galactic history, one filled with promise and potential. The news of reactivated abilities in humans spread rapidly across the galaxy, causing a mixture of excitement and anxiety. On Earth, stories of individuals displaying extraordinary powers dominated the headlines. One of the most remarkable cases was that of a young girl named Rena, who discovered her telekinetic abilities by accident. One afternoon, in a bustling human colony on Zawado, Rena sat in her room, concentrating intensely on a small toy in front of her. With a gentle push of her mind, the toy lifted off the ground and floated in midair. "Mom, look!" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. Lena, who was visiting the colony to oversee the research, rushed into the room. "Rena, how are you doing that?" she asked, astonished. Rena shrugged, still focused on the floating toy. "I don't know. It just started happening. It's like I can feel the toy with my mind." Lena couldn't hide her amazement. "This is incredible, Rena. We need to tell Dr. Kawaza and the team. They need to see this." Later that day, Rena and Lena arrived at the research facility, where Dr. Kawaza and Tarak were waiting. "Dr. Kawaza, you have to see this," Lena said, her voice filled with excitement. "Rena, show them what you can do." Rena took a deep breath and focused on a small metal ball on the table. Slowly, it lifted into the air, hovering steadily. Dr. Kawaza and Tarak watched in awe. "This is extraordinary," Dr. Kawaza said, her eyes wide. "Rena's abilities are a clear manifestation of the dormant sequences we discovered. She might be the first of many." Tarak nodded, taking notes on his tablet. "We need to study this closely. It could unlock potential in all humans." Lena turned to Rena, smiling proudly. "You're very special, Rena. And we're going to find out just how special." As Rena began her training with the research team, more humans came forward with reactivated abilities. Sarah, the young woman with healing powers, became a central figure in the project. Her ability to heal wounds with a touch was nothing short of miraculous, and she quickly gained the respect and admiration of everyone around her. One day, Sarah was in the medical wing, healing a researcher who had injured his hand. "Thank you, Sarah," the researcher said, flexing his newly healed fingers. "It's amazing what you can do." Sarah smiled warmly. "I'm just glad I can help. It's still strange to me, but I'm getting used to it." As Sarah left the medical wing, she was approached by Captain Zoran. "Sarah, can I have a word?" he asked, his tone serious. "Of course, Captain," Sarah replied, following him to a quiet corner of the facility. "We've been monitoring the reports of reactivated abilities across the galaxy," Captain Zoran said. "And while most of the reactions have been positive, there are also those who are afraid. They're worried about what these abilities mean for the balance of power." Sarah nodded. "I understand. It's a lot to take in. But I believe these abilities can be used for good. We just need to show people that they have nothing to fear." Captain Zoran sighed. "I hope you're right, Sarah. But we also need to be prepared for any threats. There are those who might try to exploit or suppress this information. We need to protect our people." Sarah's expression turned serious. "I'll do whatever I can to help, Captain. This is a pivotal moment for all of us, and we need to handle it carefully." Meanwhile, in the research lab, Dr. Kawaza and Tarak were deep in their studies, analyzing the data and conducting experiments to understand the full scope of the genetic modifications. "We've identified several individuals with reactivated abilities," Dr. Kawaza said, showing Tarak the latest reports. "It's becoming more widespread." Tarak nodded, his eyes scanning the data. "It seems the reactivation is not limited to any specific region or demographic. It's happening all over the galaxy." Dr. Kawaza leaned back in her chair, pondering the implications. "This means that the genetic modifications were designed to be universal, adaptable to any environment. It's as if the benefactors were preparing humans for a future where these abilities would be crucial." As the team continued their work, they received an urgent message from the Galactic Council. A delegation was being sent to Zawado to observe the research and discuss the implications of the discovery. The delegation included representatives from various species, all eager to learn more about the reactivated abilities and their potential impact on the galaxy. When the delegation arrived, Dr. Kawaza and her team gave them a comprehensive tour of the facility, showcasing the progress they had made. Lena and Captain Zoran were also present, ready to address any concerns and emphasize the importance of cooperation. One of the delegates, a tall, dignified alien named Reinar, approached Lena. "This is truly remarkable," Reiner said. "But it also raises many questions. How do we know that these abilities won't be used for harm?" Lena smiled reassuringly. "We understand your concerns, Reiner. That's why we're working closely with the Galactic Council and other species to ensure that these abilities are used responsibly. We're also providing training and support to individuals with reactivated abilities to help them understand and control their powers." Dr. Kawaza joined the conversation. "The genetic modifications were made by a hyper-advanced civilization known as the Illyrians. We believe they intended for humans to evolve and develop these abilities in response to their environment. It's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of humanity." Reiner nodded thoughtfully. "The Illyrians are a legend among many species. If they truly had a hand in this, it speaks to the potential of humanity. But we must proceed with caution." As the delegation continued their tour, they witnessed demonstrations of various abilities. Rena showed her telekinesis, lifting objects with ease, while Sarah healed the volunteer's injury, showcasing her remarkable gift. The delegates were visibly impressed, but also contemplative. They understood the significance of the discovery, but they also recognized the challenges it presented. After the tour, the delegation gathered for a formal discussion with Dr. Kawaza, Lena, Captain Zoran, and other key members of the research team. The room was filled with a sense of anticipation as they prepared to address the delegates' questions and concerns. Reiner spoke first. "Thank you for the tour and the demonstrations. It's clear that you have made significant progress, but we need to know more about the potential risks and how you plan to mitigate them." Dr. Kawaza nodded. "We are conducting thorough research to understand the full extent of these abilities and their potential impact. We are also developing protocols for training and support to ensure that individuals with reactivated abilities can control and use them responsibly." Captain Zoran added, "We are also taking security measures to protect our people and the information we have uncovered. There are those who might seek to exploit or suppress this knowledge, and we need to be prepared for any threats." Another delegate, a small, insectoid alien named Crix, leaned forward. "What about the cause of the reactivation? Have you identified the trigger?" Dr. Kawaza shared the latest findings. "We believe the reactivation is linked to an increase in cosmic radiation. This radiation seems to be interacting with the dormant sequences in human DNA, triggering the abilities. We are still investigating the source of this radiation and its potential implications." Lena added, "This discovery has the potential to bring us closer together as a galactic community. By working together, we can ensure that these abilities are used for the benefit of all species." The discussion continued for several hours, with the delegates asking questions and sharing their perspectives. By the end of the meeting, it was clear that while there were many challenges ahead, there was also a sense of hope and possibility. As the delegates prepared to leave, Reiner approached Lena once more. "You have a difficult task ahead, but I believe you are up to the challenge. The potential of humanity is truly remarkable, and I look forward to seeing what the future holds." Lena smiled. "Thank you, Reiner. We are committed to making this work for the benefit of all." Back at the research facility, the team continued their work with renewed determination. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew that they were on the brink of a new era. The reactivation of human abilities had the potential to reshape the galaxy, and they were determined to navigate this new reality with wisdom and care. As the days turned into weeks, more humans began to embrace their reactivated abilities, using them to help others and improve their communities. The research facility on Zawado became a beacon of hope, attracting scientists, diplomats, and individuals from all corners of the galaxy. One evening, as the sun set over the alien landscape, Dr. Kawaza, Tarak, Lena, and Captain Zoran gathered in the observation deck to reflect on their journey. "We've come a long way," Dr. Kawaza said, her voice filled with pride. "But there is still much to learn and discover." Lena nodded. "Together, we can achieve anything. The future is in our hands." Captain Zorin crossed his arms, a determined look in his eyes, and we will face it with strength and unity. Tarek smiled. The galaxy is changing, and we are at the forefront of that change. It's an exciting time to be alive. As they looked out at the stars, they knew that their journey was just beginning. The awakening of human abilities had opened a new chapter in galactic history, one filled with promise and potential. And with each step forward, they were determined to build a future where all species could thrive together.